Hi, just want to make a quick video on how to assemble these center consoles for 182. They're the rivet together center consoles, and so I have in front of me the parts that will show up in the box if you order a console. The first thing I'll go through is this is the cup holder that goes on the front. You have the fire extinguisher holder, or another bottle holder, cup holder, whatever you want to do on the rear. You have the lid. You have the front piece that goes on the front, the cup holders, a couple different bolt options as you can see here for different heights. This would bolt on here, here, here. Then we have the two center sections that make up the divider areas. As you can see, the bottoms are cut a little bit. That leaves a little space for future expansion. Maybe you want to run some wiring because you want to drill in some LED lights to light up your floor in the front and the rear. You need to run lights back and forth to a battery pack in the console, something like that. Room for expansion. Then you have the rear piece. Again, you have different mounts for your FE holder, and then the lid hinge mounts. You have the side pieces. Again, the rivet holes already come. That's for attaching all the pieces we'll get to. And the rear, or the bottom, is lipped. You get a second piece right here. They're lipped the opposite directions, and so they go together like this, and we'll get through how they assemble. Then you have the O2 bottle halves that make up the rectangle. The first piece, they are different. First piece has your rivet holes. All the rivet holes are 3/16 inch, and it's exactly 0.1875. The laser cut, except for this center hole right here. It's a 1/4 inch, and it goes in the rear. So for orientation, the purpose with that is if you have your O2 bottle slides in like this, and you have the top of the O2 bottle sticking out the back. These were for any accessory straps to strap the bottle in, or maybe an eyelet to run your oxygen tube to make that corner and go up to the pilot and co-pilot, or like I said, the strap to keep the bottle from sliding backwards if you're climbing really aggressively. Just a thought. Do whatever you want with it. I put it there as a mount for really anything. Second piece again has that 1/4 inch hole right here too. 3/16 holes. This piece has holes on the top, and that's for your big piece, and they'll come together like this. We'll get to that. This piece also has oblong holes set around, so a little bit of play as you're putting these two pieces together. Then we have, you'll get a box of rivets, a stainless steel hinge, some hardware to attach the FE holder and the cup holder. This yellow spool is actually carpet gripper. It'll go on the bottom. Recommend after you have finished it, whether paint, powder coat, or if you want to leave it raw. And then after you've put in your plane, you kind of position where you want it. This is not permanent, but it is grippy. So it's easier to put this on after you've decided where exactly you want it versus trying to move it after the fact. And then for assembly, The only thing you really need is a hand riveter. I recommend a pneumatic riveter. Makes it easier. I've done about 20 of these with a hand riveter. I just upgraded to a pneumatic riveter and it was life-changing. So this is just a cheap one from Harbor Freight. They make more expensive ones. They make battery operated ones, but all you need is a hand riveter. And then trusty old Persuasion, just in case you need it. These holes are laser cut exactly 3/16. However, a rivet, a 3/16 rivet, is not always 3/16. Usually it's a little bit over. You can drill out these holes if you want with something that's like a .190 drill bit, or hole them out just a little bit with a 3/16 drill bit. Just in case you have difficulty inserting the rivet. Again, everything is designed down to hundredths and even a thousandths of an inch in some cases. So it's tight fitting, and that's so they don't, nothing sloppy, and really no weak points. So we'll go into how to assemble these real quick. You want to start with your O2 pieces right here, and they just go together. Essentially like so. There you have your box. You want to make sure, there you have your box. The clearance on the inside, 5 1/4 inches. So make sure you overlap them correctly, and you'll know you did that if you measure here to here is 5 1/4, here to here is 5 1/4. And again, 5 1/4 inches fits the big Aerox O2 bottles. Just in case you're cruising with 4 people for 12 hours on O2 in your 182. So the first piece you want to do is we have some rivets. You just pop them in. You can do it a couple different ways. I suggest maybe put them in to line them up. It lines up all your holes. And I'm going to use the air riveter, but again, a hand riveter will do. They're spilling out of my catch here. And there you go. There's one side. We'll flip it over. You'll have these are the rivet shanks that are supposed to be cut off, and they'll extract. Put those aside. Next, we have the side with the regular holes, and underneath we have the oblong holes. So again, we will insert these. Sometimes they do need a little force, a little persuasion. Here, because this seam has those oblong holes, you do want to pull them apart as you put the first couple rivets in. So I'll show you that. It's got a little bit of play in it. So we'll pull it apart. Take all these out real quick. And then I'm going to pull out this rear one apart. Start making my way down. And there we go. We have the O2 tube built. So here we have the rear. That's important. Make sure you orientate this right. You take your first side panel here, put it on. Again, the slope down part that goes towards the front. We got our. I mean, they can go in the rear. If you want these up front for some reason, you can switch it around. It doesn't matter. My thought process was they go in the rear, but dealer's choice. So for this guy, just pop some rivets in. That one is the hole's undersized a little bit, so that's going to take a little persuasion. So we'll come back to that one. We'll get these guys started. Again, we'll take our rivet gun. Now that we got these three, we'll see if this one's still tough. It is. So let's see if we can't force it down. That's really tough in there. Take the hand riveter, I'll put it on. I'm gonna give it a little persuasion. Like I said, tight fitting. So that one didn't break off exactly where we wanted to. Come back and show you how to trim that. Now for the second side panel. So here we have putting the side pieces on, a little bit better angle here. This would be the tightest ones you have to get into, but they're doable. I already did that first one up front to kind of hold this in place. I like to start with doing the first two. Again, to hold it in place. For these, I'm going to go ahead and put in. We'll come in with our rivet gun here. Make sure we got it. We got it. And I'm going to turn the rear one around. It's easier fitting with the hand riveter, but unless you got killer grip strength, it's a little difficult. So we're going to fit the pneumatic riveter in here. Again, make sure we got it. A little pressure down. And there we go. That's the most difficult part to this. So now we're gonna look at the side here. And there's really no right or wrong way to do this. You can start at the front, you can start at the rear, you can start in the middle. I'm gonna go ahead and start in the rear here. Just because the rear is facing me. Make sure on your rear piece and your front piece and everything are all orientated correctly. Again, on the rear piece, the rear rip or the hinge holes are at the top. So we're gonna put this guy in here. Line up our holes with a few rivets. We're gonna get these guys started here. Get a little tight fit in here. There we go, we got that side done. To give it a little rigidity as you're assembling it, I'm gonna go ahead and do this back piece here. All right, so we got that rear piece on. Move it around. We're gonna start doing what makes up the center dividers. We'll start with the tallest one here, which is this guy. Again, the notched bottom, as you can see right here, is the bottom. The bends, or these wings, face to the back. So you just slide it in place. Line up our holes. Not even looking, I just know they're lining up. Get to riveting. Just for clearance of the gun here. And there we go. So I'm gonna go ahead and do, again, the smaller divider section. It's got a little tape residue on it. Again, the notched bottom, the wings, face to the rear. Line up our holes here. Again, coming with the rivet gun. Sometimes a little tap to set that rivet flush. All right, now I'm gonna come around to the back side. And some people at home might be going, hey, Matt, you're doing rivets all wrong. You put it in first, and then you put it in the hole. Yeah, I know, but it's easier to line up the holes when you put the rivets in first. But this way, the side's already lined up. So we'll just go to town. Give it a lit. Oops. Hold this air nozzle. Get ourselves a fire. So there we go. We have the rear end and we have the two dividers. Now it's time to do the front. Front's got a little tape residue and some sawdust on it. Front, pretty easy. The big square goes at the bottom. This just slides in right here. And there we go. That makes our rectangle. It's also the stop for the O2 bottle, so it'll slide forward. Took a little persuasion. And there we go. We have essentially the console built. Rear section. That's how it looks top down. So I'm not going to put the lid on because you should coat these without the lid. That way they can get inside. They can get all the nooks and cranny in the hole of the lid. And unless you want your hinge done the same color or you want it to be bare metal, if you put the hinges on, you'd be covering up some areas to coat. But the hinge, it's already pre-cut. You know, it matches up. So you just need to rivet it on the back of the console. And it sets just like so. So these lines at the top, they're for the armrest to mount to give yourself some fore and aft movement. And I happen to have one of these armrests right here. So this would mount with the included screws, mount right to the top, and you can move it all the way this way forward, or you can move it all the way back to about right here, depending on what your preference is. And then also you can loosen it and move it as needed. Once it's set, it's not set in stone. Take that off, so I'll knock it off. Front cup holder, pretty obvious how it goes. I'm not going to mount it too because you want to paint this or coat this before you mount it. But it comes with the included hardwood right here, which is all stainless steel hardware. You would just, I'll put one in. Take the screw here, mount it to put it in. And there you go. You do the other two at the bottom. It has these holes on the cup holder a little bit bigger, so it gives yourself some play if you want to level it out. And then also, you know, it has different adjustments. So you want it up high, medium, low. It does have spots for pens as well as your drinks. And we turn to the rear here. Same thing with the fire extinguisher holder. Pretty simple. You can mount as high as right here or down here. Up here, you'll have your FE. Will probably stick up that high. You may want it. You may want it as an additional cup holder for your rear passengers. The cup holder and the fire extinguisher share the same bolt pattern, so you can't put a cup holder on the rear. However, if you slide your seat back, depending on where you have this, you won't be able to slide your seat back. It'll hit the cup holder. So not recommended. You could put this on extensions and move it out as far as you want it, so your seats can come all the way back. That is something you could do. Those spacers are available at any hardware store. So that's a quick little video on how to assemble one of these consoles. Takes about 15-20 minutes. And again, all you need is a hand riveter or a pneumatic riveter. All the hardware comes with the kit. The rivet's all aluminum and the hardware is all stainless steel. And thank you for watching this video.